Our co-feature being brought to you by Bob Aaron's Top Rank.
Come on, Tiburon! Eat him a shark! Eat him alive! Come on, Tiburon! Eat him alive! He's going down tomorrow night! He's going down tomorrow night! There you go!
Live on ESPN Top Rank.
Yeah! Muscle means nothing! Muscle means nothing! Shark, eat him alive! There you go! Eat him alive!
Ahora sí ya está, puro equipo tiburón, listo para rajar madres. Ahora sí ya es la de veras. El otro piensa que es principal y que va a ganar, pero pobrecito, ¿no? La gran decepción que se va a llevar. Aquí estamos.
It don't mean nothing if you don't fight. You feel me? You don't win, it don't mean shit.
Yeah.
But I just like, you know what I mean? That's what Angel says, it don't mean shit unless you win.
Noche con otra cosa que no de la vida me río y de feliz cuando baila. Suena la banda en mi rancho cada vez que se me toca de Tijuana y los nuevos Santa Rosa donde Guayate es pensando vale y les toca. Un tiempo fui campesino y desde güey me enseñé a sembrar, pero todo era tristeza y hay la pobreza hay que cambiar.
No, I should have. If I would have told you anything, you probably never would have said anything. I wouldn't have.
We always gotta keep in mind.
Feel far.
Good, I know.
¿Cómo ves, güey?
Good, good. Good, good.
Scoot over to the side. Right here. It's good. I want you to go. Look back through.
No one's gonna be able to go in the ring.
The guy, the singer, doesn't have his mic.
Also with a perfect professional record. 20 fights, 20 victories, including 12 big wins by knockout from San Jose, California, the defending WBC Continental America's champion, Andy, the Shark Vences.
Okay, gentlemen, both belt lines are good. I gave your instructions in the dressing room. Protect yourselves at all times. Listen to my commands. Touch them up, guys. Back to your corner. Ready?
Right away, you see De Leon starting to apply that pressure already. And you see Andy Vences working that long jab. He has the reach advantage, leaves a 4-inch reach advantage. And he's going to have to keep De Leon at bay, because De Leon likes to get close and work those hands.
Vences told us yesterday this fight's going to come down not just to his jab, but variety of jabs.
Absolutely.
He gets around that southpaw stance.
Well, there's a couple of ways you can land a jab against a southpaw. Of course, you can come over the top of the jab. You also can come underneath the jab as well. And you also can come with a little check hook over the jab. Vences is going to be trying to do that. Right now, he's having success right now, controlling the distance by keeping De Leon at bay.
You know, they have remarkably similar professional careers. They're both undefeated, as we've noted. They're both 26. They both turned pro within months of each other in 2012. De Leon figures it comes down to his pedigree. He has a more storied history, a more successful history. He's predicted for bigger things as an amateur. First picked out as an 11-year-old by Emmanuel Stewart. Promised him he'd be a champion in not just one, but several weight classes before he was through. We're looking here at one of the last proteges of Emmanuel Stewart, Erick De Leon.
Well, I said this fight was a 50-50 fight. Going in, you said that they look even as far as the paperwork goes, the amount of fights they have and experience they have. And when you're unsure, what I always go back to is the pedigree of the fighters.
What do you mean by pedigree, though?
Amateur experience. That's what I mean by pedigree. You have Erick De Leon, 150 amateur fights. He was one of the top amateurs in his time. Then you have Andy Vences, 56 amateur fights.
I understand. Great things were projected for De Leon. So he might have made an Olympic team had he not hurt his shoulder in 2012. He's boxing basically on a torn rotator cuff. By the same token, Tim, you were never predicted to go to Olympics, were you?
I believe if it was 147 pounds, yes, but at 152 pounds, no.
The pedigree is what you make it right now in the pros.
Listen for the bell, gentlemen. Listen for that bell.
About getting paid.
Time right there.
Those two fights that he had, the one against Miguel Mariaga and the other one against Genesis Cervania, I mean, he learned so much about himself. He came back in the fight against Genesis Cervania, coming back from a knockdown, finishing the fight real strong, behaving like a champion, and in the fight with Miguel Mariaga, he found that he could finally go the distance.
The guy who's gone greater distances here is Andy Vences.
Vences right now is having control. De Leon needs to get close and let his hands go. He has short arms. He likes to stay busy, but Vences is controlling the action right now. So, De Leon still trying to find his way inside. Vences is doing real well with that straight right hand right now. And he's controlling the distance off the jab, just as he said in the fighter meeting.
I'm getting the feeling that De Leon, for all of his pedigree, has yet to solve Vences.
Vences is having real good success right now, like I said, controlling the distance. De Leon is starting to get a little bit reckless right now, rushing in.
He has De Leon lunging.
De Leon something to do. He sometimes lunges in, especially with the straight left. De Leon just landed a crisp left hand. And it was because he set up a body shot on the outside and came right down the middle.
It was a year ago today. Vences won. Right after the fight, he gets a call from his manager, Herb Stone. He said, I need to speak to you. Stone found him as a kid, told him he was dying. Vences has dedicated the rest of his career to Herb Stone. The memory of Herb Stone. He passed away on Memorial Day. And he really, for all the talk about pedigree, Herb Stone wasn't affected by it. He saw Vences in a gym in San Francisco. He says, anything you need, I'm there. On his deathbed, he gave Vences a $20,000 check. I don't know, most boxing managers are not renowned for their generosity. He said, I don't want you to have any excuses.
Stop, no punch, no punch.
That's special.
No punch, guys, let him up, let the head out.
Said that
Stop
they
at the
had
bell,
the
gentlemen.
to make it to the top.
Time!
Well, I know why there's bad blood between these two. They both unbeaten. And they're young and they still got a lot to prove in the sport right now.
Question, Tim. De Leon trains with Robert Garcia, who was not with him tonight. Right. Coaching, training, this kid's rough. How much of a disadvantage is that?
Well, he has a son in the corner, and the young son learned from the grandfather and learned from his father as well. So it's just like he has Robert Garcia in the corner. But it's the younger version. I don't buy that one.
You got one main voice.
I don't think he's affected by it at all.
I think he's affected by Andy Vences.
It's those long arms that Andy Vence has, and he's doing well by keeping his distance, keeping the range, controlling the range. Every time Leon steps in, he takes a half step back, and then he fires. De Leon's gonna have to figure out a way. He's gonna have to use his jab. He has throwaway jabs and jabs to try to get inch close to you and work his hands. He hasn't got inside that well in this fight yet. He's sitting on the outside getting picked to pieces right now by Andy Vences.
Something to look forward to. De Leon, by his own admission, has very sensitive skin. And you can see his face is already getting red there. He's getting hit by those jabs and straight rights.
Yeah, he just landed a combination when Andy Vences was against the ropes. And he started that combination by going to the body. That's what he needs to do more of, I believe, by going to the body. A little sharp footwork by De Leon right there.
Nice right hand, straight, hard right by Vences. There's an answer to the fancy footwork.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think that the slicker foot movement has come from Vences in pivoting, just like that.
Well, Vences has De Leon right now dancing to his rhythm, getting him lunging in with the shorter arms. De Leon needs to come behind that jab. He just trying to rush in, coming over the top with the right hook. He needs to come behind the stiff jab. Not the flick jab, a stiff jab.
So the comp box numbers there with total jabs. Disservice to what's a championship night of boxing here.
That's what we're a team, Joe. All right, we got
Joe,
this.
We got this.
All right, so here we are with Andy Vences taking on Erick De Leon, an all-action fight. It's been about adjustments early on. In the corner of Andy Vences, they were wanting him to make Erick De Leon pay when he lunged. In the corner of Erick De Leon, they wanted more activity. So far, who's made the better adjustments, Tim?
Right now, Vences right now is controlling action, even though right now De Leon is finding homes for that straight left hand, and he's getting inching a little bit closer with his foot. Look at the front foot there. He's inching a little bit closer to Andy Vences, but Andy right now just tied him up. And like I said, he's having a little bit more success right now controlling the distance. Andy Vences is.
I think Vences has done a masterful job. Disproved all the talk of pedigree.
At this point, but he's still got a lot of rounds to go.
The guy I see missing more shots, looking more amateurish, to be frank, is De Leon. I'm not calling him amateurish, but what I am saying is that Vences says, you're not your past.
You're present.
You're present.
And that's what we're seeing. And when we were in the fighter meetings, we talked about De Leon becoming a fighter who, through the Robert Garcia sparring, where it's really hard, they go at it, he was becoming more the type of fighter we're seeing tonight as opposed to the pedigree that you were mentioning earlier, Tim.
Right, it's about skills. That's what it's about, not just rushing forward. And Andy Vences is using skills right now to allure this pit bull or this bull that likes to come in, straight in.
And you know, the shark, Andy Vences, he was saying, I don't know why everybody's saying he's more skilled. And he's trying to prove that tonight, Mark.
Not for nothing, but I think this is De Leon's best round so far. I think that it has something to do with the bad blood yesterday. Vences feels, this has been given to you.
Nothing's been given to him.
Nothing's
the only
been given
thing
to
is
him.
he's giving a little bit of inflammation on the left eye of De Leon. That's the counter right from Andy Vences. And once again, you see those long reaching arms of De Leon. And if El Tiburon can counter him, it's going to be a dangerous situation.
The long reaching arms of Vences.
Of De Leon in that case. I mean, the reach advantage is probably for Vences, but the one who's reaching and putting himself in a vulnerable position so far is De Leon. As round 4 comes to an end here in the rain. At the stop-up center, through the ropes with a push. Goes De Leon.
Time. Configured like a pit. The fans aren't nearly close to the action. They're part of it. And they set a certain kind of expectation, and I think that the fighters, Tim, you especially, feed off that.
This is the war ground.
No one wants to disappoint the fans in this particular place.
I mean, you guys threw 1,676 punches combined. You threw a gram by yourself. I mean, you guys set the bar high.
Absolutely, man. This is the war grounds here. The fans here, they expect action.
And that's what we're getting with De Leon taking on Andy Vences. Nice left hand there from De Leon, who, although he's reaching, he's connecting on Andy Vences. Impressive to see the steam coming off the heads of these fighters.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Joe Tessitore came to Southern California for college football weather.
Misses with the left, does De Leon, but then connects. Misses with the right, connects with the left, and Vences looking to time him, but he gets caught because he's walking straight back, Timmy.
Yeah, you gotta angle out a little bit. You can't walk straight back. You know, De Leon is still trying to make way and trying to get himself inside. When he uses his jab, he's able to get inside. When he doesn't use his jab, he get hit just like that with straight right hand sitting right in front of Andy Vences. Big overhand right by Andy Vences right there.
That's how you beat a southpaw, with the overhand right, and that's exactly what Vences is trying to do, setting up that right hand, trying to shake it a little bit.
I keep that right hand up, but he's been clipped with a couple of lefts this round.
Combination punching there once again from De Leon as he's trying to walk down Vences, but as long as Vences keeps that jab out there, it changes the whole identity of the fight. And he mentioned in the fighter meetings that it was going to be key, but he'd have to connect it differently. And here we see the different ways he's trying to connect, Mark.
He's tapping it, he's touching, the hard ones, the soft ones, all to change the rhythm, change the angle, and get around that right hand.
And Vences has actually changed his right hand. He threw a looping right hand about 30 seconds ago. He landed a big right hand on De Leon. De Leon still trying to find his way inside. He just got clipped with the right hand. I saw his legs wobble a little bit. I don't know if he was off balance or not, but he might have been hurt.
All right, nice body shot there from Vences on the counter punch.
But look how he moves around. He really does look like the more accomplished boxer this evening.
He's in control right now.
That's one of the things that you see. He's using De Leon's aggressiveness against him.
Yes, that's how you do it. And it's funny because you would think that De Leon with having the pedigree, that he's able to know what he's doing, but he doesn't. It doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing. You would think that De Leon would do it to Vences, but he's not. Not capable.
Time right there.
For our first fight of the evening between Andy Vences and Erick De Leon. And what has impressed you so far early on in the fight, Timmy?
Well, what has impressed me so far in this fight is the fact that Andy Vences is making De Leon pay with the straight right hand. That you see right there, that straight right hand as De Leon actually leans forward, breaks a cardinal rule, actually breaks a rule by lunging in. You're not supposed to lunge in and put your head should never pass your knee. And he's catching with that straight right hand. That's what's impressed me right now. He's having total control from the outside. He's doing exactly what he said he's going to do in the fighter meeting, and he's having good success.
He's the matador tonight. He's a very good
The Shark, he says, I'm calm in the ring, but once I see blood, I go get it. When I see my opening, I make my opponent pay. That's exactly what his corner asked of Vences early on after the first round. I went over there and asked them. They said, I want him to make him pay for lunging. And I think that's been the biggest key adjustment he's made since round number 1.
Yes, it has been. You know, you got a guy dancing your rhythm. You know, you see how Vences is sitting back waiting patiently, waiting for him to lunge and overcommit and hitting him with the clean right hand. I'm just waiting on Andy Vences to hit him with the uppercut because he's leaning forward.
Has Vences done enough body work?
No, Absolutely not. You know I'm a firm believer in body work. You know, I'll tell you a quick story about the body work and why it's so important. I fought Anthony Thompson in the national championship. It was a pound national championship. In the first 2 rounds, he went down to my body. The last 3 rounds, the third and the 4th round, I was extremely tired during that fight. He took my legs, and ever since then, I started going down to the body.
Take the body, the head will fall, no doubt about that. And these two fighters now trying to give themselves a breather. I mean, it's been all action here during the first 5 rounds. Now we're midway through round 6, and Mark.
To me, it looks like the fight Vences anticipated. He said he hasn't fought anyone like me. Those looping shots, you see it right there. And he hasn't fought anyone who can catch it.
I mean, both guys were saying that about each other. Neither one thought the opponent had faced anybody like them. And here we see De Leon finally connecting and Vences being rocked backwards with the left hook. But Vences comes back to him. And when you get a guy who's pressuring, you want to let him know and earn their respect.
You got to earn their respect, definitely. But right now, Leon is having success. He's closing the gap. Maybe the young Vences is starting to fade a little bit.
Right? Stop, no punch.
Just a second. He hasn't got a second win yet. But De Leon is coming forward, putting a lot of pressure on Vences, and he's having success. And look at that cut over the eye. I don't know if that's a headbutt or maybe a punch. I'm not sure.
Stop at the bell, gentlemen.
Determination from the ref as soon as the bell sounds here, round 6.
Time, right there.
StubHub Center in Carson, a venue for great fights, and that's what Andy Vences and Erick De Leon are giving us tonight. Now, Vences told us in the fighter meetings that he considers De Leon a good fighter who is strong and aggressive, but that he hasn't improved since the amateurs. This is a game of adjustments, Tim, and how does not having Robert Garcia Sr. affect him at this moment?
Well, Robert Garcia is an experienced trainer, and he probably could guide him, you know, well in his fight, but De Leon is what he is. He's a shorter guy, you know, he has short arms, has to work inside. If you look at Leon, he likes to throw in between about 80 punches a round. He has to get close to you to have success, and he hasn't been able to do that.
Tim, what's the point of having all that pedigree if you haven't learned how to solve a taller, longer man?
Well, there's ways of getting inside. Right. He's walking straight through the front door. He needs to come out.
He's doing it the hard way.
Yeah, I mean, even Mike Tyson, who once he got there was going to break down the door, found ways to work his way inside. And so far, I think the lack of adjustments from De Leon has been evident here. But nonetheless, he's got that knockout power, and I think he's believing that he can do that. He's got 10 knockouts and 17 wins.
I see a guy ducking under, moving away from his best shots in Vences.
He's keeping true to his game plan, as he mentioned to us in the fighter meetings. I mean, there's nothing better than staying with your game plan. He said that was going to be key, Mark.
It looks like exactly the fight that Vences anticipated. We thought for a moment in the last round. Look at that. My point exactly right there. Big overhand shot. Didn't even get close. We were talking about whether or not Vences was tiring. Worth mentioning that he works as an armed security guard. Maybe that's one of the products of not having the pedigree. You have to also earn a living in this game.
And that's part of what makes you hungry too, Tim. When things aren't handed to you, when you have to go that extra mile, you appreciate it. What a jab there. He snaps back the head of De Leon. He does it again, and then he tries to follow up. De Leon, the big right hand. And maybe he got too cute with the jabs and just stayed there a little too long.
Stayed there a little bit too long, admired his work. He thought that jab was good, and guess what? De Leon, he's not going to stop coming forward.
De Leon has found something with that right hand.
Stop punching.
He has, because Vences was moving to his left continually. He says, okay, you want to go that way? Here's my right hand. There was a trip there also that made it look maybe a lot harder than it actually was. But nonetheless, the fight's getting closer, and it's because De Leon's able to cut down the distance. It was a great start to the round from Vences, but one punch can change it all here as round 7, and things get heated at the StubHub Center in Carson.
Time, right there.
Someday, maybe, we'll get these 5 fighters in the ring against each other. Tonight, we have the privilege of having these 2 young fighters, and this is a fight, Mark, that neither fighter can afford to lose.
I think that it depends how you lose. That's the first thing. If you lose gallantly, if you lose poorly. I'm not sure this is a great matchup for De Leon.
Well, right now, De Leon just landed a nice right hook to the body against Andy Vences. He's trying to switch up his attack right now. He's trying to move his head a little bit too far out and drops a little bit low, but he's trying different ways at this point. Nice right hook there.
All the pre-fight talk, fighter meeting was about pedigree, was about the past. And to me, Vences looks like the more well-schooled fighter.
Well, De Leon right now, I think, is controlling this round right now. He's landing some clean punches on against Vences.
And really, when you get two young fighters, what you want is ebb and flow. And that's what we've gotten in this fight, is the fact that, you know, De Leon, he's trying to go for the long ball. He's trying to get that shot, but if he keeps getting caught on the counter like that by Vences, then the judges are going to keep looking at that mark and giving him a lot of credit for the way he's dictating the pace of the fight.
Yeah, just like right now, he's dictating the pace of the fight right now. He has Andy Vences going back.
A couple body shots wouldn't hurt.
Vences, though, being very efficient in how he makes De Leon miss and makes him pay like he does there, but he gets caught with the looping right hand from De Leon. We know that's what he's going for. Does Vences know that's what he's going for?
Yeah, Vences knows what he's going for. Vences is doing his best to keep his distance and control range, but he's not stopping De Leon from doing what De Leon does.
There's that body shot that Mark was asking for. It was De Leon who landed that left hook to the liver of Andy Vences, but Vences continues to move laterally, wants De Leon to chase, wants to catch him coming in, but
the thing that you do against a taller, linkier guy, you look at Vences turn southpaw. Excuse me, real quick before I tell you what I want to tell you. He went southpaw, so now he's making De Leon really think now. Now he has to adjust himself. He's looking at himself in the mirror at the moment.
And he's getting caught with that right hand. That nice jab from Vences. Maybe he wasn't expecting him to switch southpaw, and all of a sudden he's got to adjust.
Well, what I was intending to say was, you work the body on the taller men. You work the body, the head's
Listen
gonna
for the
fall.
bell, gentlemen. Listen for that bell.
Good finish from De Leon here. As a fighter, you want a trainer who's going to take care of you, and that's what Manny's doing for his guy.
That's what you want. You want a trainer that's smart, that's going to take care of you, that's going to look out for you in your best interest, and that's what he was doing right there. He was taking care of his fighter, making sure that the ref knew what the other fighter was going to do or try to do in the fight.
All right, it's
Manny Way.
The final 2 rounds of this fight. With what we've seen, Mark, I mean, the storylines coming in were far and wide. What about the heart of both these fighters?
I asked De Leon what Emmanuel Stewart first saw in you as an 11-year-old. We're seeing it right now. The heart, he said, the hunger. And whatever Vences has done to him, he hasn't diminished the taste or his pace for attack.
And he won't. He has success when he gets inside. That's when he has his most success. But Vincent has been controlling this distance, and it's been a jab. The jab has been controlling and taming De Leon.
One thing I haven't seen Vences use is a jab to the body. In terms of creating space, it's a very effective tool.
And there would have been perfect there to avoid De Leon. I mean, they just looked at each other for a few seconds, and he gave De Leon enough time to think and figure out how he's going to get inside. And there comes that jab to the body, as if he was listening to you, Mark, from Vences. But nonetheless, you cannot give a guy like De Leon, who's trying to be the aggressor, time to think.
No, you can't give him time to think. You got to keep something in his face. You give him time to think, guess what? He's going to have some success every now and then with those wide looping punches. I'm so surprised that Vences hasn't thrown that right uppercut. It's there for him every time De Leon leans forward.
Combination punching there from De Leon. And you're right, Vences. There's always, I mean, is that one of the least used punches in boxing? It's one of the most effective.
Yes.
We just saw Wilder do some crazy stuff. You know, but why don't fighters use that punch?
I have no idea. You know, I think it's a lost punch. Just like inside fighting is lost. You know, it's just you got to be taught. You got to be taught. That's a deadly weapon, especially when you have a guy leaning over his front foot and giving you that shot. You have to take those types of shots. Take advantage of them.
I'm looking back at De Leon's history. Next week's main event, Jose Ramirez, Amir Imam. De Leon beat both of them. I want to see that guy tonight.
It's not the same. The amateurs with headgear at that time and with all the marbles and everything on the line.
Listen for the bell.
As we will come back with round number 10. Here's a round between Andy Vences and Erick De Leon. The fight could very well be in the balance here in the final stanza. And Tim, it comes down to the age-old question of do the judges like aggressiveness or do they like control? And right now, De Leon is aggressive, but Vences is in control.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to, sometimes when you get to the, well, not sometimes, but when you get at the top level, you got to know who your judges are. You got to know how they judge, the history of how they judge. But yes, a lot of judges like the pressure fighter, and there's judges that like the boxer, and the one that lands the cleaner punches, like Andy Vences.
Yeah, he just landed a nice left hook, clipping De Leon on the chin, but here comes De Leon, and here, Mark, both will have to dig deep.
Look, at this point, it doesn't have to do with pedigree. It doesn't have to do with who's in your corner. At this point, it has to do with aggression. You have to make the most of the remaining seconds. You have to sell out.
Well, right now, I think this is a good, close fight. At the moment, I think De Leon has came back probably in the last 3 rounds.
Tim, is he selling out? Is he doing what he has to do? If this fight is that important to him, is he doing what he has to do right now?
At the moment,
nice right hand by De Leon as he catches Vences, and I'll let you answer the question.
Absolutely. Right now, you see the 3 shots he just landed right now. He just can't rush in there. He's trying to figure out another way of attacking Andy Vences.
Keep the head up for me, all right?
I mean, a minute and a half to figure out if you're going to have any regrets. And that goes for both guys at this point, because I don't think Vences could feel that he's got the fight won either, even though he's done things the way he visualized this fight.
Stop, no punch, no
Nonetheless,
punch.
you never know what the judges are going to see.
Never know.
You're the fighter.
It's funny to think that Vences is a guy whose mother wanted him to quit boxing. He was 4-0, going to community college. She tossed him out. She didn't want him to be a fighter.
No bumps in the house, imagine.
He's done a pretty good job. Right hand.
Andy Vences, he's the one who says, come at me. I'm waiting for you, and I'm going to land something because it's been there all night. And finally, Tim, that uppercut.
Yes, he's changing the angle on that right hand now. Now he's coming with that uppercut because somebody must have told him in the corner that it's there for him. And he's just doing something. Andy Vences is doing something a little different than he has De Leon.
Watch your feet, gentlemen.
You know, thinking about that uppercut now.
He's putting that left hand down. He's waiting for that counter right, waiting for his shot. There it goes.
Snapping right, now a left by De Leon, and the final 10 seconds of this fight. These fighters are going to give it all to you here because this is a sub-hub center fight.
Listen for the bell, gentlemen. Time, right there. Good job, guys. Fun fight.
You knew these guys wanted each other in the ring. They had that chance, and then, Tim, the respect that 2 boxers always have after finishing on their feet.
I love that. You know, at the weigh-ins, you saw them going after each other at the weigh-in, and you see this young guy, Andy Vences, hanging over the ropes right now, looking at us right now. I thought he fought a smart fight. I thought he fought the fight that he said he was going to fight.
Go to the scorecards. Alejandro Rochin scores it 95-95. He has it even. Zachary Young scores it 96-94. He has it for De Leon. Max DeLuca scores it 95-95. A majority draw.
The fans not happy with the draw, but